cooking this album for you. I'm gonna give away one thing off the album in Detroit tonight because I got a lot of love for Detroit. So I'm gonna have to tell you, like, me and Nicki Minaj did our first song in like a really long time.
And no, Drake, being Young Money isn't just supporting Wayne and Birdman and the men in Young Money. Being Young Money is also supporting Nicki.
The tea is steaming hot, everyone, and Nicki Minaj is the one making the queen angry after Drake's petty action. Does it have a deeper meaning, or is Nicki exaggerating? Either way, why don't you assess the circumstances? Drake then released a song featuring none other than Nicki's greatest enemy. Since Nicki is now at odds with every other female rapper, Drake has limited options. However, the fact that this is a trend rather than an isolated incident with him is quite alarming, as Nicki has had almost little success in the music industry. You may want to grab some popcorn for this one, as she publicly called him out. Let's find out exactly what she said and how Drake betrayed her despite being her friend the whole time.
In my view, a significant reason of why the Nicki hate train was able to progress and advance to the level it did is because Drake Graham, the biggest male artist, had nothing to say other than to pop up with Nicki's ops.
She's pissed, so Elle is all set to release her new album. She decided to give her fans a taste of what's to come by playing a clip of her new song, Sugar Honey Iced Tea. Guess who's got a verse on it? It's none other than Drake. We can tell this is Drake for sure because on August 4th, 2024, Drake dropped 100 grams of never-before-seen footage from his vault. One of the tracks that caught fans' attention was Housekeeping Knows, which featured a feature from Lotto. Of course, someone is spoiling the atmosphere in the room, and that someone is none other than Nicki Minaj. To be fair, the lady had good reason. Drake is interfering with her personal life. What kind of loyalty is that? And Nicki sure as hell made sure the whole industry was aware of it when Minaj was on Stationhead interacting with fans. In addition, Nicki said that the group of people whose fans are presuming to be Drake and PND would always have willing participants because the ugly females, also known as Elle, are really desperate. Nicki labeled Drake and the party next door Ugly Boy 1 and Ugly Boy 2. On top of that, she made fun of my southern accent.
So, Ugly Boy 1 and Ugly Boy 2, they know they forever gonna have a willing participant. Because our girls are so desperate for this money, you know.
One guy is enraged by the jab. Another person said, I think Drake only collaborated with Lotto because he has allegedly been dealing with Lot's sister. If I were Nicki, I would stop showing Drake love because he keeps showing her time and time again that he has no loyalty to her and that he always does some snake stuff toward her in person. However, remember that if Nicki did a song with Kendrick, BBL would be furious and petty at the same time. If you want loyalty, you have to give it plus Elle don't sell plus Kendrick already demolished Drake. Act as though it's all love, the kind of devotion Nicki is hoping for, but she won't find in the industry. There are no friends in the game. You haven't learned that yet. However, some people have chosen to criticize Nicki for being extremely petty, saying things like coming for Latwen. Drake is your friend is insane and calling her ugly is crazier. I like Nicki. But this isn't the real Nicki, to be fair. It makes sense why she's upset, but on the other hand, meanwhile, back in 2023, Drake became the #1 public enemy of Nicki MJA fans when they couldn't find her name on the track list for his new album For All the Dogs. They felt that it was all kinds of messed up. Especially since Nicki had gone out of her way to support the record publicly. This was a very dumb move on his part, as he put his money and his career before his loyalties, making it clear that he used Nicki.
Drake, I'm not gonna tell you one more time, okay? The Bob said they need the album. And that, he could be Champagne Poppy, he could be Champagne Poppy, we could be damn Shane Poppy. I don't care, Poppy. I said the Barbs want the money.
It becomes even more troubling when you recall that, earlier in 2023, Drake had made a public promise to deliver a highly anticipated collaboration with Nicki Minaj during a live performance in Detroit. The scene was electric, hundreds of fans packed into the venue, eagerly awaiting every word from the superstar. As Drake took to the stage, his excitement was palpable. He confidently announced to the cheering crowd that a new track featuring Nicki Minaj was on its way, generating a buzz of anticipation and delight among his fans. At that moment, the promise seemed like an exciting glimpse into future musical collaborations, heightening expectations and setting the stage for what many anticipated would be an explosive release. The crowd's reaction was a mix of exhilaration and impatience, eager to see this high-profile pairing come to fruition. However, as time passed, it became increasingly clear that the anticipated feature was not materializing. Fans and observers began to speculate about the reasons behind the delay or possible change in plans. The initial excitement now felt like a distant memory, overshadowed by the disappointment of unmet expectations. The once promised collaboration became a symbol of broken promises, leaving many to question whether the excitement had been genuine or merely a ploy to hype up the crowd. The situation underscores the complexities and challenges of high-profile music collaborations. What was meant to be an electrifying announcement turned into a source of frustration, reflecting the often unpredictable nature of the music industry. In retrospect, Drake's declaration now carries a tinge of irony, as the promise of a Nicki Minaj feature remains unfulfilled, leading fans to wonder if the collaboration will ever come to pass.
Cooking this album for you. I'm gonna give away one thing off the album in Detroit tonight, because I got a lot of love for Detroit. So I'm gonna have to tell you, like, me and Nicki Minaj did our first song in like a really long time on this side. Got a lot of love for her.
Even earlier, he had stoked fans' expectations for a Drake and Nicki collaboration by sharing a photo of an exclusive Japanese Drake and Nicki Minaj mixtape. For the following 2 months, Nicki fans enthusiastically promoted DCKY on Twitter and Queen Radio, but when Drake repeatedly postponed a release date and failed to deliver, supporters realized he was leading them on heck. Nicki even showed her disapproval when she liked a fan's tweet referring to DCKY. Crumb side-eye, it wasn't just the music industry that appeared to be against Nicki in 2020, it seemed like magazine publications were also against her. At that time, Nicki needed Drake's support, but he wasn't anywhere to be seen, so she had to fight her battles on her own. In fact, Drake went so far as to invite the people behind the hate train, also known as Cardi B, to the stage with him. Emoji, get your act together, sir. Why do people think that Drake is a cheater for using them and Nicki in that way? The man hinted at a collaboration and never mentioned it again. In a twisted way, I understand why Drake did that. He needed to generate some buzz for the album, but what is his justification this time? Why did he dab Nicki in the back in this way? We may have to go back in time for this one. Remember back to June 2014, when Nicki performed on stage at Hot 97 Summer Jam? Of course, Drake was the one who joined her at the time. They had the same chemistry that first captivated audiences.
I could stay like that all day.
But you know what? The one thing I can always do is count on you.
Always.
The people love you. You the people's motherfucking champ.
And then in March 2017, these two released No Frauds with their mentor Lil Wayne. It was a momentous occasion for the three of them, and the fact that the music video has amassed 229 million views to date is evidence of the trio's admiration from the public. However, this is also the point at which everything sort of went wrong. For the two friends, as you can see, back then, Nicki was dating Meek Mill. The two were suspected of being together after a photo appeared online of them in the studio, but it wasn't confirmed until January 2015, when the pair posted a selfie on Instagram that revealed nothing. However, the image of Meek's Maybach music crew having a good time quickly attracted fans' attention, and a month later, Nicki shared a photo of Meek kissing her on the cheek, which definitely inside the buddy zone in fan fiction. Even though fans really thought Nicki and Drake were engaged, their relationship didn't last long. In January 2017, Nicki announced on Twitter that she was single and focused on her work, saying, "Yes, I am single. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys as soon as possible. Have a blessed new year. I love you." But what does all of this have to do with Drake? A lot happened during those 2 years, like the fact that Drake and Meek were at loggerheads. The first blow came from Meek, who claimed in a tweet that Drake was ghostwriting and added, "Stop comparing Drake to me too, he doesn't write his own RS, that's why he ain't tweeting my album." Adding that he would have removed Drake's verse from their DWMTM duet. Rico didn't even write the verse on my album if he had known about the ghostwriting before entering the same studio as him, and I would have removed it off my record. I promised that I don't play tricks on my fans, but later on, Meek changed his tune. He joined Nicki on stage during her Pink Print tour stop in Bristow, saying, I'm just upset as a fan. Let him be great in all the lanes he's GRN. He also apologized to Nicki, saying, I want to give a special apology shout out to Nicki Minaj for my crazy ass going crazy on Twitter. Why did he change his stance? Did his girlfriend put in a positive word for her best friend? We're not sure, but whatever we do know is that the damage was done while listening to the 2-hour Beats One Oyo Sound radio show, during which Drake stopped charging up and gave Meek some lessons about rapping and inward snitching on us without being questioned. I stayed silent because we are at war and I'm very patient, and I finished doing favors for people because it's not like I need the money I make from a feature. I see that nobody is having trouble going gold and turning into some so that nobody knows. I can tell he wrote that song too, but Drake clapped back with a back-to-back verse that gave us this iconic verse. Is that a world tour or your girl's tour? I know you got to be a thug for her. But this isn't what she meant when she told you to open up more. Drake was writing Baby Lotion soft when he was talking about Drake's weak diss track. Indeed, if Meek had wanted a burial, Drake would have set one up for him. As for Nicki, well, she was stuck in the middle and chose to remain neutral, stating there, guys who have developed into. She did say on the ghostwriting, C-N-word can't write my raps. You know why? You don't have the heart, the mind frame, or the intellect. You don't even know how to pronounce the words in my raps. I detest it because it doesn't make me feel good. You shouldn't ever want to choose sides between people you love. I just want it to end. Imagine yourself in her position, however, given that she chose to dig her own grave rather than discard Meek's ass the instant he offended Drake. Drake's footwear, since they've been close from the beginning. He must have expected Nicki to support him. Knowing Drake, he must have been furious that she didn't, even though he made an effort to hide it from him during interviews.